All right, what's up YouTube? We're gonna talk today about where to put your trigger finger on the trigger. Where should your trigger finger interface with the trigger? Is it just the tip? Just the tip, that's what she said. Is it the middle of the pad, or is it all the way up to that first knuckle? Or for you guys that are built like the dude from Green Mile, is it the second knuckle? Which one is good, which one is bad, etc. So there's, in my opinion, like there's a ton of what I would call like Facebook FUD lore surrounding this topic. You'll see guys posting that really stupid chart, like, hey, if you only put the tip of your finger on the trigger, that finger is gonna push the gun in one direction, or if you sink too much finger in, it'll pull the gun in the other direction. I don't necessarily agree with that stuff at all, but it's entertaining to watch people just basically like completely go to war on this topic. So I don't agree with it, because your trigger finger is not stronger than your two hands on the gun, right? If it is, we don't have a shooting problem. We have, I don't know, like a lack of a protein, lack of creatine, whatever type of problem, right? Your grip on your pistol should be way stronger than what your index finger is. Only your index finger. So now, do I think how you interface with the trigger can hurt or help you being able to press the trigger straight into the rear without moving the gun? Yes, for sure. Now, what I mean is, if the length of pull is too long, for me, what I see is these fingers really want to clamp up like this and push the gun. So it's like when you shoot low left, it's not because you don't have enough trigger finger on the gun. It's because your firing hand clamps up like this, and you're more or less pressing the trigger with your entire hand, and you'll see this happen, right? It's actually a super common thing, but it doesn't have anything to do with where you put your trigger finger on the trigger. It's not like this finger is pushing the gun around. Now, I will tell you that there is a sweet spot, at least for me, there is a sweet spot for where I like to interface with the trigger. Now, that sweet spot for me is I want the corner of this flat face trigger, this Walther, I call it the full send trigger, but the corner of this trigger to be right in the nook, or in the crook of this first knuckle, right? I sink the first knuckle all the way up to the trigger. Now, when I first interface with it, you'll see that the trigger finger is like this. Now, when I go to prep, you'll see the trigger is like, or the finger now is like this, because of the good length of pull on this particular gun. Like, this gun fits my hands very well, and I'm able to get that, which is very easy to then pull the trigger straight to the rear without this hand clamping up on the gun, right? And I can show you, like, I can do this all day long, like slam straight through, right? Without moving the gun around. And a lot of that has to do with the length of pull, and it makes it really easy for me to not have this hand clamp up as I'm pressing the trigger. Now, a good example of a gun and trigger that doesn't fit me, and I think even harder for me to pull straight to the rear, is a stock Shadow 2 trigger. There's a good reason why there are trigger reduction kits for these things. So like this particular trigger, really far reach for me, for my particular hands. And you can see that finger is like this, which makes it really hard for me to interface with this trigger and pull it straight to the rear. You actually saw it there, this whole entire hand like go to clamp up on the grip, and it's like, that's what happens when you're shooting low left. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this finger. It's not your finger pushing the gun around. It's where your finger is interfacing with the trigger is not allowing you to pull the trigger straight into the rear without this hand clamping up. And so for me, it's like, if I had a trigger reduction kit on this, it would probably be somewhere around half cock, right? You'll notice, like, when it's prepped, it's like, boom, that's perfect for me, right? Now I could press it straight to the rear without moving the gun, right? I don't shoot this thing a ton, so it'd probably be pretty hard for me to do without, actually training with it. But I like that trigger finger sunk all the way up to that first knuckle. To me, it's like, it's more leverage on the trigger, and it's way easier for me to press the trigger without getting these other fingers engaged and start putting different pressures on the frame as I'm pressing the trigger really aggressively. like that. So anyway, that's just a couple of my thoughts on this. You know, your gun should fit you in a way to where when you go to press the trigger, your trigger finger should look something like this. It's going to be way, way easier to press the trigger straight into the rear without getting these other fingers engaged and moving the gun around. If your gun is, if the grip is too big, you know, this way, and you have like this type of thing going on, it's really, really hard to reach around or to get enough finger on the trigger to where, you know, these other fingers don't engage. When you're pressing the trigger, it's like, that's going to be really hard. The other, going in the opposite direction, like maybe the grip is way too small and you're like built like the dude from Green Mile and you have this whole thing going on, like that probably wouldn't be good either, right? Like you will see these other fingers like really, really want to tense up because like everything's connected, right? So again, this is like pretty ideal for me. If when you press the trigger, your trigger finger is straight like this, it's going to make it very, very easy to pull the trigger straight into the rear without this hand clamping up. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, disagreements, put them in the comment box below. As always, happy to answer them for you.